In my day job as, among other things, legal counsel to the American Society of News Editors, I've had the opportunity to get to know, work with, and indeed become friendly with many of the winners of the Benjamin C. Bradlee Editor of the Year Award. It's a group of accomplished journalists who, more importantly, are almost always great people. Always, actually, great people, the winners of this award. That's why I can say, without question, that this year we have an equally deserving winner in Peter Kovacs of the Baton Rouge Advocate. Peter has been an editor at papers in Louisiana for more than 3 decades, including the 2 biggest, the Times-Picayune in New Orleans and his current paper, The Advocate in Baton Rouge. He was part of the Times-Picayune leadership that did some incredible work getting information and news out to residents of New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina. That, no doubt, prepared him for the equally stellar work The Advocate did after massive flooding in Baton Rouge and other parts of Louisiana this past year. Both times his paper not only informed, but also helped heal a community rocked by tragedy. It was truly journalism and citizenship at its best, and it's why Peter Kovacs, a great editor, but also in my experience, a great person, is this year's Benjamin C. Bradlee Editor of the Year.
Thanks so much for the kind words, and I'm honored to be at this table today with all these great lions of journalism and to learn about all the success they're enjoying. It's also great to see such a large Louisiana delegation here today in the room. I don't know whether they're here to honor Steve or to honor the Advocate, or maybe they're here because they came up for Washington Mardi Gras, which was Saturday, and they still haven't sobered up enough to go home. For the real Mardi Gras, which is in 12 days. When Sandy Johnson invited me here in November, she told me I'd be asked to say a few words and don't be gloomy. Well, that's not a problem because The Advocate is a unique success story, a newspaper that's thriving, supported by its community, and dedicated to the kind of shoe-leather journalism that every state needs. In 2013, Dathel and John Georges bought the newspaper with a bold vision to grow the company in a shrinking business by expanding our footprint in New Orleans and Acadiana. They invited Dan Shea and me to join them in making this great dream a reality. The opportunity was right there in plain sight. Just months earlier, Advance Publications had decided to shutter the Times-Picayune Publishing Corporation and replace a venerated newspaper with a website emphasizing sports and entertainment. Dan and I learned of this one memorable evening by reading the New York Times, which also reported that the plan included laying us off. Finding out about your own layoff from the New York Times was kind of disheartening, but, but I suppose it was better than reading your own obituary. So Louisiana, as it turned out, was not ready to give up on traditional journalism, and the list of civic leaders who spoke up on behalf of a daily newspaper included the governor, the mayor, the archbishop, and every single member of the Louisiana legislature. The Advocate was once half the size of the Times-Picayune, but under Dathel and John's ownership, we've passed them by to become Louisiana's largest newspaper. And and we're gaining ground online so that if current trends continue, we will surpass them as the state's largest website. In 2016, Louisiana once again needed the moxie and muscle of a daily newspaper. That summer, our wounded state relied on The Advocate when we faced 3 heartbreaking crises, each more perilous than the one before, over just 6 weeks. I'm so proud to be here this evening on behalf of our team, but also on behalf of our state, which refused to give in to division or disaster. Thank you.